What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. I'm joined by T here to discuss all the latest that's going on with the club. As always, make sure to get involved throughout the show. It is a very busy show today, so we're going to get through as much as we can before we do end it. But as always, if you do enjoy the content, like, subscribe, and also leave down your thoughts in the comment section down below if you do enjoy the stream and have any questions. And make sure to check out the Brentford player ratings, which was posted today. You can click on the pinned comment after this ends to check that out directly. T, defeat, man. The new season's here. It started with a defeat. We haven't spoke to you about the game. Just your quick thoughts before we jump into the news.
You know, it's a tough one, man. I mean, I didn't say a whole lot in the aftermath of the match. You know, spent a lot of time processing it, but I think at the end of the day, we looked like a team that was lacking a little bit of match fitness, lacking some chemistry, lacking some time in. But you know, it's one of those things. It's something to move on from, something to build from. There were things that definitely stood out that weren't great and that need to get fixed, and I'm sure that a coach of Oliver Glasner's quality is very much up to the task and on it of getting us where we need to be.
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, the perfect timing is that the window's still open. Maybe this could push the club to make more signings, because today there has been a lot of news that's been coming out. I don't know if it's
a lot of things that need to be addressed. It's like you see those things and it's like, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got, of course, we've got Cherki from Lyon that we're going to be talking about today. We've also got Lacroix update, striker update, another defender from Liverpool, plays over in Turkey, a goalie. So there's a lot to get through today. It is all happening, and we know that this window ends in about what is it now, 2 weeks time or less than 2 weeks? Yeah, roughly around, less than 2 weeks now. So we haven't got much time. And we have to get ahead with it. But look, emotions were high yesterday, I guess. And right now I'm operating with half of my screen not working. Not because I smashed my screen from the game, but the camera fell off my laptop. It started off with a howler, and it was a very frustrating game. But it's not the end of the world. I think, yes, be frustrated, but don't let this make you think that the season's over before it's barely started.
No way, man. It's too many games. Too many games to be played.
Exactly. But it's given us a good indication into some players and the position that we do need to strengthen on that we spoke about before. And one of those could be in defense, with a lot of people talking about the defending being poor yesterday. So we're going to get into that. But in attack, it was Daichi Kamada's first game, and people are already talking about reinforcements, that we need more players as forward. So let's start off with that news. According to L'Equipe, Crystal Palace are interested in signing Cherki from Lyon. The player is currently waiting for a potential move to PSG. Palace and Fulham have not yet made concrete offers for the player. Lyon may need to, because of an economic emergency. He is currently training with the reserve team. They want around £15 million for the offensive midfielder. That's according to Fabrice Hawkins. As the report suggests, the club are interested in signing the player for reportedly around 15 million euros, which should fit into what we want to do. However, it seems like he's waiting out for PSG. Your thoughts? Because you really want him.
I mean, I think he would be a great addition for us, man. I mean, it's like you said, you know, a lot of things have to align for a transfer to happen, especially with the way we look at things. You're looking for young, talented players that are of an affordable price point, you know, that adds to what we're looking to do here. And he checks all those boxes. He's going to bring that creativity that like you in particular talked about, you know, not having guys that are, you know, more tricky and creative. He definitely checks that box off, you know, and I think we're a good destination for him, because it's a place where he can really develop, and he can see that young guys are getting the chance to step onto the pitch, prove themselves, and then go on to playing at high levels for the countries that they represent. So I think it stands to be a great opportunity on both sides for us to get something done. you know. But and don't get me wrong, I completely understand why at the moment, you know, he's kind of holding out for PSG. It's he's from Paris. It's the biggest team in I mean he's from France. It's the biggest team, most successful team in his league. Why wouldn't he? I get that, you know, but that doesn't mean that if it doesn't work out with PSG that he then wouldn't turn and have his head turned towards us and us having the ability to play with us. So
yeah,
he plays a similar position to Eze, but he plays opposite Eze. He plays
so
more on the right hand side. Yeah, he's 2-footed. He's literally 2-footed. He uses both. But yeah, he tends to operate more on the right side.
Yeah, I do think we need another flair player. I do think that. So listen,
Yeah, and he definitely fits that. He definitely fits that.
That we're linked with him because even yesterday, I think it's still early for Sarr, but first of all, he came on. We changed the formation a bit and the system, but he only had 2 touches in 6 games. I think he's going to need a bit of time to adjust. And as the number 10, I'm not too sure. I'm not sure of him.
It's not like you said. It's not his natural position. Therefore, he has a substantial amount of learning that he has to do in that position before he can step in and be very effective for us. Whereas, you know, a Cherki is more made to play in this type of system because he's less of a winger and he's definitely more of he can play centrally a lot more effective. He's more of an attacking midfielder. You know what I mean? So it's definitely more of something that's up his alley, should I say?
And this is not even a panic mode from yesterday about Kamada. I'm shocked, to be fair. I'm shocked that a lot of people have written him off already. Like from the comment scene, it is wild to me personally to see a lot of people saying, "Oh, look, I didn't have a great."
That's our fan base, man. Completely reactionary and outlandish at times, man.
It's only one game. It's only one game. And
yeah, a lot of times, and that's why I haven't said a lot post match, just because, you know, sometimes, especially after matches with our fan base, man, it's almost toxic to go on to social media because it's just so much negativity and naysaying and discrediting and throwing guys out, you know. But at the same time, you look back and these are the same guys that were trashing guys like Eze and saying that guys like Elise weren't going to be able to hack it in the Premier League because he was too small and didn't do enough defensively and these things. Like, you know, it's so temperamental, man. So like, you know, I definitely have to give a grain of salt and a little bit of space to some of those social media outlets post match for sure.
Yeah, well, make sure to tune into Back of the Net where we show both sides. Anyone can have
not us. Not us. We're good, pure content right here, baby. Good, pure content.
But yeah, look, emotions were high yesterday, but I'm not writing off Kamada by any means. But I mean, even before this game, I mentioned it.
Too much success, too experience.
For me, it's the left wing back, right wing back, me personally, and also another number 10. Because in attack with behind Kamada, I think we are lacking that outright number 10 option. With Sarr, it's a bit confusing, and I can't do confusing this season. I can't have that confusing because I mean we've got the right manager, we've sold Elise, we should have a bit of money. Let's go and spend it. Let's make sure we have all the depth covered because I mean we've all agreed that we don't need to sign starting 11 players, but we do sign depth players to, you know, improve in certain positions. Yesterday, you look at the bench. I said it in a watch along as well. That it is a stronger bench, but there are certain players that you're looking at saying, you know what, they can still be replaced. For me, Schlupp was on the bench yesterday, so I'm looking at, all right, when France comes back, he takes that spot. But 9 players on the bench. Sarr has a role in that bench, but also Ayew still is on that bench, and I feel like we can upgrade from that. I know Sarr is an Ayew replacement, but I feel like there is an option there for another forward. And if we were to sign Cherki, which is a young individual with that flair, as you mentioned, can play with both feet, that bench looks stronger. So, look, I'm for it. I'm not getting excited. There is interest. We have spoken about him throughout the summer, not because of just reports, but, you know, individual Palace fans have wanted him, including T. But now, as we're approaching towards the end of the window, if PSG don't move for him, could there be an opportunity with that price tag? I think there could, but we have to wait and see. Saying that, I would like us to also look at alternatives because we cannot play that risk. I feel like we are missing another potential 10 in this side behind Kamada, who's going to be a good player for us.
Yep.
But let us know your thoughts anyways in the live comment section as well. Looney saying left footed right-sided cam is a priority along with wing-back cover. Yeah, I agree. For me, I've said it all along. Patrick said it in player ratings. Make sure to check that out after this. That's being posted. I'm not as fussed about the foot of the player as much because I think we know that it needs to be a right-sided player. And I feel
they
like
need to be able to play on that side is the most important thing.
The club will do their work anyway. So I'm not worried exactly about, he has to be left-footed, for example, because we're talking about a player here right now that can play with both feet, which, I mean, numerous players can do. We've been linked with Smith Rowe, who can do a similar thing as well, who went to Fulham. So not over analyzing the foot, just get me a flair number 10. That can be Madueke, that can be a Cherki, just someone like that. That's what I want because I feel like we are missing that. But I mean, it's good. It's positive that the Monday after we are talking about finally some forwards who is gone quiet on. And he's saying Kamada will come good. His press is good. He's a battler. He has a work rate we need. He brings a different game, something Elise couldn't bring. He also didn't give what Elise could. I think that's a fair judgment. We haven't replaced, well, we have kind of replaced Elise with Kamada, but he's not a direct replacement in terms of what Elise could bring to the side, because I'll be honest, people, there's not many players out there that could deliver what Elise could deliver. He's for me, he's going to go very much to the top, and that's why he's gone from Reading to Palace to Bayern Munich. Is a player of huge talent. But look, let's see what actually happens. But if you enjoy the stream, people, hit the like button, subscribe, as now we are targeting the big 10,000. So every like, every subscription matters. It's free, and it helps us out massively. Now, move on to the next bit of news, and that is on Lacroix, who has been linked with Palace throughout the summer. There was some potential progression, but now, is that the case? It's a bit confusing, but let's go through the report. Pletigo, who sourced before, who's meant to be a very reliable source, has said that, there was a green tick yesterday. He had a tweet which had a green tick over his initial tweet that we spoke about on this Palace News episode. I think it was, of course, it was last week, about personal terms agreed. And a lot of people have asked him the question, what does this mean? Is he joining Palace? And then what happens 12 hours later is that, I mean, their manager, Ralph Hasenhuttl, which a lot of you may know from Southampton, has come out and said that I know that he is staying on Lacroix, which is confusing. He has captained the side today, I believe, in a cup competition, but he did get subbed off around the 5-minute mark. But it's a bit baffling, this Lacroix situation. It seems like from the outside looking in that Glasner really wants him, and he's only got a year left on his deal. But the fact that their manager is saying that I know he's staying whilst he's got a year left on his deal is even more baffling. Surely you don't want to lose this player for free.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. The outlook and what you're hearing from the manager versus, things that we're hearing in the media and stuff. I mean, but at the same time, if you're the manager, do you really want to give those type of things away? You know what I mean? Do you want to give away those that type of information and things? I don't know, but and at the same time, a lot of times you see clubs not playing a player if he truly has a chance of exiting, because you don't want him to get hurt, and possibly mess that up. But I don't know, maybe Wolfsburg see it differently and they feel like, hey, as long as he's our player, he's going to play for us because we need him, and that's an argument to be had and a viewpoint to be understood as well. So, it could all depend, but I mean, he definitely played today for sure. Started and captained.
Situation again, no?
It very well could be. We could be showing the same thing. It's like, hey, he's our player until he's not, and until he's not our player, like Oliver Glasner said, until he's not our player, he's our captain, and he's going to play.
Yeah. So, and another centre back that we've been linked with, and then we're gonna open the discussion up about, do we need another centre back? Because I think it's a fair point to talk about, especially if we do keep Anderson or Gehi. That's if we do. Is that Joe Gomez? He's been linked with a move to Palace. However, Liverpool are looking to command around 45 to 50 million pound, though. the question is open whether they can. Palace, Villa, Bayern Munich, Fulham, and Chelsea are among the clubs that have been monitoring the situation. That's according to Ian Doyle Sports. Let me just say this. I don't want to spend too much time on it. There's no way on a Palace are spending 45 to 50 million pounds on a centre half. One,
name Joe Gomez, especially. Name Joe Gomez, especially.
It's too much for Gomez. Two, it's totally against what we're trying to do. Yes, we might be open to spending 30, 35 million pounds on a player. Maybe even that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But 45 to 50, that's basically getting the Gahey money spent on Joe Gomez. At that rate, might as well just be Gahey because it's not going to really help us progress. So I don't believe these reports one bit, especially when there's other clubs linked. Yeah, it's not happening. I'll be shocked if that happens. Especially
if you pay 45 million for Joe Gomez, then we should be asking for 90 for Mark Gahey. I'm sorry. That's just the truth.
There's no point. There's literally no point. I mean, you keep Gahey, it's better. It's better to keep Gahey because
Joe Gomez has a checkered injury history. That's the other thing. I'm not putting out 45 million for a center back that's not going to be able to be on the pitch. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I thought I'll mention it anyways. He's been linked with us today. But the bigger question is, moving on from the Joe Gomez report and combining the Lacroix and Gomez report, is that do we need another centre-half team? Because for me, having Lacroix, Anderson, and Gahey at the football club is fantastic. When you look at it from the outside looking in, I think that's very good. Very good depth. And then you move Richards and Riyad as the two backup options and Rob Holding as emergency. That is quality depth. However, would you want a Lacroix or Joe Gomez if it means that we can't strengthen potentially at the wing-back spots or as even getting another number 10? Would you want the club to make a move like that? I'm not saying that is the case, but if we're on a budget, how much money can we spend on a centre back?
In that idea, like you just said, if it means us not getting wing back cover, no, I do not want us to go for another center back. If I don't want to sacrifice us getting that necessary strengthening that we need in those wing back roles in order for us to get another center back. Right at this point, for me, us adding a center back without losing one is more of a luxury slash insurance move for the future. Right now, if you go out and you go ahead and you spend that circa 17 million euros for a guy like Lacroix, it's because you want to have him in place at the club with the club in the event when the time comes that somebody else moves on, so that you don't have to go out and make a move. So I understand that piece, but that is a luxury move. That's a luxury move. Most teams in most situations will make the necessary transfer to bring in a replacement after a player is gone. There are a few teams that have the luxury of being able to bring in a replacement before someone is gone, but not everyone has that, because it's very much a luxury style move, because you're putting out expenditure before you're getting money back to replace. But in this situation, if it comes at the sacrifice of wing cover, I'm definitely not doing it.
Yeah, for me, I think wing and number 10 is more important. But I mean, saying that if we could somehow combine everyone together and get all those positions, then I'm not against it by any means as well. I'm just a bit worried due to how we've moved, especially with forward options and the amount of players that we were linked with, and us just moving away from those players, maybe due to money reasons and other things. So, but most importantly, I know that we're on a budget. It's obvious we don't have tons of money to spend, and that's why we haven't signed literally all of these players so far. So if that is the case, I'd rather we just make sure we prioritize the positions that we need. As you said, for me, centre back right now is a luxury. I think we've got enough depth at a football club. I'm not writing off Richards completely as well. I think that's another overreaction from yesterday.
Yep, very true. Very true.
Yes, he didn't.
I'm actually surprised that people were talking down about him. Like being completely honest, the other two center backs were the ones that were at more risk and more fault for goals than he was in any way. So I just didn't. Now, overall, did our back line play well? No, but I think some of the vitriol that he was getting was unnecessary.
Spiritual saying Klein pace could have really helped at the back. I don't know.
No, because the issues, I don't think
I don't
the
think
issues
Richards
that
was
we
slow though.
had weren't. Yeah, Richards isn't slow. I think people are just speaking about the fact of Klein doing his occasional center back overlap, which honestly only happens maybe twice a match. But there was some stagnancy on the right side, and that's true. I don't. I don't think that. I don't think that there definitely wasn't. But it's not something that we can't have worked out, because what you have to understand is Chris Richards didn't play on the right side at all last season, pretty much. He was mostly the left center back all last year. So he didn't have a lot of time to work with Munoz last season, because he was on the opposite side of the pitch for the majority of the year.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be talking about this in the match preview, the West Ham preview. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Subscribe if you haven't already done so to not miss out on that content. That should be dropping on Wednesday afternoon. But yeah, look, Richards, I don't think any of the defenders had a great game, especially the central three, Gahey, Anderson, and Richards. Gahey directly involved in the first goal that we conceded. I think very poor defending from him, just showing him Wembo his strong foot and letting him have that.
And then prior to that, Anderson was out of position. That led to the fast break opportunity.
So like if they were performing like this after 5 games or so, or a month into the season, then I'll say, all right, cool. Let's have a sit down and let's figure out what's going on. Because remember, before even going into the game, Glasner did mention that Eze and Gahey were, players that it might take a few weeks for them to reach levels that we know of them because they haven't had a proper preseason. But you add to that list of Adam Wharton getting subbed off, for example, and suggestions that his fitness is not up to the levels. And you got Munoz who's come back, and Lerma from the Copa America. You've had Nketiah from the Olympics. Like, we haven't had a proper preseason with all of these players at the football club. And we're talking about 8 players potentially. So yesterday, it did hurt and it does hurt. But if you have faith in a manager, and we've seen how good some of these players can be, there's no need to panic and say, we need to get rid of this player, that player, change him, and this and that. Maybe 1 or 2, yes, you can have conversations. But realistically, I'm not going to go overboard and say, we need to have a whole 11 change against West Ham. I think the defense still on paper is our strongest defense. Riyadh, I know we debates about this, T, but Riyadh for me could be Richards at some point because I think he's had a very good preseason. But apart from that, I'm not saying sell Gahey after yesterday or sell Anderson after yesterday. My stance has been the same.
Not at all. Not at all.
Anderson, you sell him for £40 million. And that would be good business if you can bring in Lacroix and another player. But like, it's nothing about yesterday. It's nothing about really yesterday. It was shaky, but it's only one game. The last time we lost a game, people, was against City. And then what happened afterwards? The game's unbeaten. And I think there was a stat from CPFC Tampa on X.
Slow starts by Oliver Glasner teams. Yep.
Yeah, Glasner team struggling at the start of the season. Well, I think for the first few games or so, and they ended up, some of them finished 4th, high up the table, basically. They had no problems, even though it's a slow start to the season. So, yeah, I mean, it's annoying because Brentford have been a side with injuries, as we spoke about in our position preview. A side that it should be maybe struggling this season without Tony. So, yesterday went against us. That free kick decision from the referee giving everyone literally a yellow card. Edward, poor from him, not timing his run. It was just a frustrating afternoon. But
comedy of errors, as they call it.
It wasn't terrible as well.
No.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like, oh wow, what on earth has gone on? Like, it's just poor individual mistakes and not being clinical enough. That's what cost us yesterday. But let's talk about the striker position. Of course, as I mentioned, Edward yesterday, I was not happy with that goal, the offside decision. I think it's criminal for him to be offside, especially looking at the defenders. But it's happened. However, there's been reports from Sky Sports with the following that Crystal Palace and Forest remain in dialogue with Arsenal over the signing of Eddie Nketiah, who has been linked with us for few years now, just like Ismail Assar has. But do you think he would be the right player?
No, I don't. I really don't. I hope he goes to someone else so that this can end. Really do. But it is what it is. I guess he'll be connected to us until he isn't.
Well, Forest, I think in the past hour or so have been pushing for him. I think they've got a bid of £25 million rejected. But yeah, I would say if Forest weren't involved, because they would spend down money for Nketiah, so I don't think we'll compete with Forest because I think we've got our limits in terms of how much we want to spend on the forward. Then I'll say maybe we could get a deal because they really do want to sell Nketiah, and the Marseille deal fell through, so they might be forced towards deadline day. But I think Forest will end up paying for him, and it will end up going there. Saying that, though, I mean, there's another striker that we were linked with. He's gone to, I believe, over to Spain. Your man, he's gone to Spain. What was his name again? Barry?
Tierno Barry.
Yeah, Tierno Barry. He's gone.
Oh, man, they got a baller.
So
they got a baller.
So he's gone. And Nketiah could be potentially gone. He was, on our radar for a while. Striker. Anyone left? Do we need a striker? Does it not depend on selling Edouard?
I think it definitely depends on selling Edouard. To be completely honest with you, I think it definitely hinges on that. But I don't know. I got one more guy that's out there. I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off on saying the name because I don't want to lose out on him. But man,
tell us, man.
Oh man, I can't.
Told us with that knowledge.
All right. I'm just. If anybody watches Michelin has a dude on their team named Frankelino Jew. He's amazing, and he's gonna be one of the top players in the world. He's gonna be a great player soon, and he's at Michelin right now. And somebody need to go get him. He's really good, but
yeah, he hasn't been linked with us. But I mean,
he hasn't been linked with many people at all just yet. But he's already lighting it on fire in European competitions already this year.
Yeah, look, chat. There's over 110 of you here. I'm just looking at the like count. We're on 46. What
are we doing?
Can we increase that? Can we at least hit 60, 70? Come on, please. If you're
enjoying the button, man.
Like,
hit the button. I hope we're not getting hater views. I hope we're not getting Arsenal hater views and
I don't think so. I don't think so. It will go up.
Just hit the like button, man. Just hit the like button.
They never let us down. They're probably just too indulge in the conversation. People probably forgot to like, but don't worry. Quick reminder.
My man K Chambers said, "Please tell Edouard I hate him."
Jesus. You said that.
Yeah. He said, "Please tell him I hate him."
That's harsh. That's crazy.
Harsh,
as soon as I asked the chat for something, we get it. We're literally on 60 likes. We're on the verge of 60 likes in like 5 seconds. We went from 46 to nearly 60 in 5 seconds.
That's why we have one of the best communities out there. Thank you. 100%. Thank you, fellas. Thank you.
They never let us down. I'm telling you. They just forgot.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's harsh on Edouard. That is harsh on Edouard.
To hate him is crazy.
Yeah, that is a bit crazy. But yeah, look, I mean, we're approaching towards the end of the window. Selling Edouard, getting another forward. I'm not as hopeful. I just think another number 10 for now will do. Another number 10 now, and then just make sure Mateta goes in his form. But yeah, I mean, we're going towards the end of the window, so we haven't got that much time left.
Like Lazar said when he got on that phone, man, it's been crazy. The thing is, we have no idea just how much is going into behind the scenes right now. I'm sure that there's a lot of things in the works, man, and we'll see it start to come into view a little bit soon. So
yeah. But look, let's move on to the next player. As I said, it is a busy show today. There's a lot coming out, and there isn't that much time left in the window. According to Brazilian sources, Crystal Palace are monitoring Santos goalie Gabriel Brazao, I believe it's pronounced. I think that's more to do with Sam Johnston, more than anything. Yeah. But goalkeeper being rumoured. Interesting. The Plymouth one, I believe it was, right? Was it Plymouth? No. Where was the goal?
Yeah, it was Plymouth. He was coming from Plymouth. Plymouth Argyle. Cooper. The Cooper kid.
Yeah. So
went to Sheffield.
Yeah, he's joining another. I think Sheffield. Yeah, Sheffield United. So that's out of the way. But I mean, Johnson, even that's gone a bit quiet as well. But there's no way we keep him. Surely not. He was on the bench yesterday, but I just don't see a scenario of us keeping Sam Johnston.
I mean, I think it could happen only because of the fact that we may be reluctant to move him if we can't find a replacement in enough time. That the reason why it's starting to get to that point where it may not happen is because there's just not that much time left. So it's because if you think about it, like right now, if we were bringing the Brazilian guy right now, you know how the time it would take him just to get his work permit. You know what I'm saying? Like that piece, that's a lot. That's all, and especially because it's gotten even harder now with Brexit for players to get the permits. So
I don't know if Brexit directly links to this situation, but I hear what you're saying.
yeah,
Surely
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
not.
but there are certain things that's going to take time. So it's like with as much time as we have left, like we may end up seeing him till January at least. In January, maybe when we see him move. Who knows?
Yeah, I think if Sam is leaving, then we are 100% bringing in another goalie.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how, when, and how fast.
Yeah, a replacement will be lined up, so I'm not really worried about that. They won't be that silly to sell Sam Johnson, surely not, and risk going with Dean Henderson, who's got his injury problems in the past. But yeah, I mean, goalie over in Brazil, linked, solid. Time will tell. Time will tell. This all depends on Sam Johnson. Let's talk about the last player, and that is on Batista Mendy from Trabzonspor. Galatasaray have started negotiations for the midfielder Mendy. Crystal Palace are also interested in the player. That's according to sources over in France. It does mention midfielder Mendy, but I believe he plays in defense as well as a centre back.
He does. He has had some experience playing at center back too. I think because he's technically a defensive midfielder. I think this kind of reminds me of how things were prior to us getting Czech Decore, where he is mainly a central midfielder, defensive midfielder, but he can drop back into a back four situation.
Yeah, but the fee shouldn't be too high. But Galatasaray are after him, so we'll see how serious we are about the situation. What about Joe Gomez? We literally spoke about Joe Gomez, Jack, not too long ago.
Yeah, and that was the shortest thing we talked about all day.
Exactly. Yeah, we just mentioned it and moved on. Especially when a player is linked for 45 to 50 million pounds to Crystal Palace. Let's just be real. That's not going to be happening, is it? But let's go through some questions and we're going to wrap up because, of course, there is the game on as well, the Leicester-Tottenham game. So I know a few of you will be watching that. Animal saying, will we see outgoings as well as incomings? Potentially, as I said, Sam Johnston is one of those, and Jordan Ayew could be another one. He's been linked with a few clubs, so only time will tell with that. Spiritual saying, am I the only one wondering why we sent Jez out on loan after Sunday's game? I'm personally confused. Not even after Sunday's game, even before Sunday's game. I mean, if you're looking at a flair player, young player that could come off the bench, I think Jez could have been that guy.
I think the Jez thing was more about what Jez wanted. I mean, if you watch that Sheffield interview, one of the main things he talked about was wanting more time on the pitch, wanting to be playing week in and week out. He literally said it. So, but it definitely was a hot button topic of whether to keep him or let him go.
Yeah. Look, people, we're going to wrap up here. If you have enjoyed it, please hit the like button and also subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. That's it from me and T. And until next time, up the Palace. Also, before I go, check out the player ratings. It's an opinion comment. But until next time, up the Palace. Keep safe.